Let's get to the details of those stories now. From June 2018, government will no longer proceed with a Zoomlion contract employing over 45,000 Ghanaians. The Youth in Sanitation module under the Youth Employment Agency has been running since 2006. But at a press conference addressed by the Chief Executive of the YEA, Justin Kondria Frimpong, government will now invite bids for more companies.
To commence the verification exercise, the agency requested Zoomlion Ghana Limited to present data of beneficiaries on the sanitation model. The data was submitted in the following categories: A, number of beneficiaries under the sanitation model in both hard and soft copy. Photo album of beneficiaries on the model. Payment records of beneficiary from 2016 to the commencement of the verification exercise. Zoomlion Ghana Limited furnished the agency with a total figure of 45,320 as beneficiaries across the country, detailing a regional breakdown. Based on this premise, the agency initiated a nationwide headcount to verify the figures as submitted. Out of the 45,320 names, 38,884 turned out for the exercise. In response to the discrepancy in the data, the service provider contended that beneficiary apathy and short notice given to beneficiary accounted for the discrepancy. The exercise revealed that of the 38,884, most of them were recruited without recourse to the Youth Employment Agency. Therefore, there was no appointment letters issued to these beneficiaries, a practice we consider unacceptable. The service provider has still, to date, been unable to furnish the agency with the payment records of beneficiaries on their payroll. The review exercise established that each beneficiary is paid 100 cedis, whilst 400 goes to the service provider as management fees. This, again, a practice we consider an affront to beneficiaries on the program.
So I have the Chief Executive Officer of the YEA here in the studio with me, Justin Frimpong Kondria. Like I said, so you're welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Gifty.
And thank you very much for your time as well. We'll look a bit more into the figures of this, but you're seeking to open up for competitive bidding. What really will that change?
First of all, we need to appreciate the historical arrangement with respect to the sanitation model. You know, it started in 2006 from NYEP through to JIDA and YE Act. As the last proper contractual agreement with the service provider was somewhere around 2011, which elapsed in 2013. And in fact, there is a cabinet letter to the Youth Employment Agency somewhere 20th June 2016. Directing the agency to rectify arrangement or agreement with the service provider from 2013 to 2015. Okay. Then going forward, any future engagement or arrangement should be done within the parameters set by the Youth Employment Agency Act and the airline, and also the procurement law of Ghana. But it's sad up to date that has not materialized.
Okay, and this is between 2000 and this was supposed, the correction should have been done
around 2016 because that was when the cabinet letter came.
Okay.
That we should rectify between 2013 to 2015.
To 2015.
Yes.
So between 2013 and 2015, everything that Zoomlion did for the government with the youth employment module was not on any serious or any official contract.
Perfectly so.
Okay, and how did they explain that to you? Whoever you took over from, how did they explain that to you?
That's a mystery that maybe we need to dig in further and find out, because we realized that the relationship between the agency and the service provider was a very, for want of better word, a very still and very professional, lack of coordination between the agency and the service provider. And certain things were done at the blind side of the agency because we did not pay particular attention to it. Okay,
very well. Now, what I, as a Ghanaian, will expect, and I believe my viewers will expect to know, is the mystery that you talk about. You being there now should afford you the opportunity to be able to break it down to us. What is the mystery? What is it that went on, and why do we have a company working for government without any contractual agreement?
First of all, we need to appreciate this issue again. That, as I say, it started from somewhere now, before it got to where we are. And when I asked the previous management, it's like they were not in the known on even how the models were being run.
Okay, so the management that you took over from didn't know how Zoomlion got the contract?
No, like from 2013 to 2015.
They didn't know how
the whole exercise were being carried on and how payments were being made. And
so
everything.
Who was making those payments?
Well, it's per law. We are supposed to receive 10% of the District Assembly Common Fund. So our funds sit with the administrator of the District Assembly Common Fund.
Right.
So when we assumed office last year, I wrote a letter to the administrator. And on this note, I must commend the current administrator for adhering to the letter that I wrote to her, that any payments to the service provider should seek clarification or authorization from the Youth Employment Agency.
That is what you're doing now.
Yes.
Now what we want to do is who paid the money, knowing very well that there was no contract? I mean, if you don't have a contract with anybody, why do you pay them?
That takes us to the legal realm, because we have a term called quantum merit, whereby you acknowledge that a person is working.
Okay.
And
even though it's not on paper.
You pay the person, like an implied contractual agreement. That is why the then cabinet in wisdom said it should be rectified, and going forward the proper thing should be done.
Let's look at the figures that you provided today at your press conference, and I'm going to go through those figures now for our viewers to have a look. We're looking at the beneficiaries for the Youth Employment Agency fact sheets, and then the beneficiaries for the Zoomlion project was 45,320. That's what's supposed to be on paper, right? Yeah. But you are saying that after your audit, you found that 38,884 persons were beneficiaries of this program, which means that we're looking at a deficit of over 6,000 here. Do we have an explanation to this?
What we stated was that 38,884 turned out, as in came
to work
for the verification exercise.
Okay.
You know, you do adverts, you tell people we are coming to do head count there, and on that day, that number are those who turn out. So to satisfy our curiosity, we wrote a letter to the management of Zoomlion Ghana Limited as to the discrepancies. And their response was that one, notice that was given to them were short, and also there have been several head counts that have been done last year, and they're also owing the beneficiaries. So they also thought maybe there was one of just the normal head counts that have been done. That was the issue that was stated. But one key thing that struck us was that when we inquired whether they have appointment letter or not, none of them.
None of them had appointment letters. Let's deal with the figures, and when we finish, we'll look at the appointments. Now, this is costing government 22.6 million. Yeah. 22.6 million, that's the amount that was paid to Zoomlion to cover for those beneficiaries.
Is it worked out in quarterly, or is it monthly? Or
monthly.
Strictly so.
And what you also realize that the government was basically paying 500 cedis to each to Zoomlion for each beneficiaries, but then the beneficiaries were getting 100 cedis, and that is something we know. 22.6 million. It means that if you look, you reconcile that with the figures you have. Zoomlion owe us some money.
It's difficult to say he owes us some money, because first of all, he has given his response that people did not.
So let's talk about Zoomlion as an entity.
Yes.
She say, hey, I believe you're referring to the owner of Zoomlion.
Like the agency,
so let's deal with
the company stated that, well, because of ABC reasons, that culminated in them not turning out.
So what are the reasons they gave
Like I stated, they said, well, the notice that we gave to them was short, and also because there have been previous head counts and nothing came out of it, and also the places that the head count took place was far from where they stay. So
if you said nothing came out of it, and I'm trying to understand, so my viewers can understand as well.
What I know is that I know DACF and district assemblies try to do a head count or verification exercise under the sanitation model. Which to me I see as an anomaly, because definitely they don't have that capacity or right to do it, because per law it is YEA whose funds sit with the DACF, whose by law we are supposed to manage the sanitation model. So when the right and the proper one came, that's the excuse that the notice.
I'm listening to what you're saying, and it appears that you are painting a pattern of a lot of irregularities that have gone on. Being there, you've been at the office now. What do you think is really the problem? What do you suspect has gone on? And be plain.
I won't miss anyways. For avoidance of that, the only thing has been lack of monitoring and supervision, like monitoring and evaluation of the whole exercise. The YEA slept on its right, slept on its legal duty to make sure that the person who has been contracted or the person who's handling the sanitation model is well checked to make sure that the things are done rightfully. So that is something that we, as current management, we don't want to continue. And that's why we are saying that, first of all, it surprises that we don't even have the database of the beneficiaries. We had to rely on Zoomlion Ghana Limited to give you. So that is why we are saying that in order for us to know and get proper documentation, anyone in the sanitation mode has to reapply.
So it is based on these irregularities, including lack of appointment letters. You say some of them don't even have appointment letters. Based on
almost all of them.
Almost all of them.
Yes.
Almost 38,000 of them.
Yes, because at the end of the day, we are supposed to issue appointment letters. You ask them for appointment letters, they look at you like, what's appointment letter? And without appointment letter, we are unable to track when people come into the program. And
are you trying to say they don't have appointment letters because you're looking to sack some people or let some people go?
Unless you want to agree that the current status quo should remain.
No. I want to find out from you. Yes. Is it part of your plans? Is it in your plans to let some people go home?
No, Gift, I also want to appreciate that we agree that the current trend, there's something wrong with it.
I get you. You've made that point.
We need to make sure we put things in the rightful perspective.
Putting things in rightful perspective, does it include laying some people off on the
that is not the intention. The intention is to make sure that we have proper documentation. And
so if you don't have a document, if you don't have documentation, you lose your job.
How do you get the proper documentation? First of all, we are asking people to come forward if you are interested. For people are not interested anymore. So you want them to come, apply. Then we know at least we have your details, your date of birth, your age, where you are working, and we need to even know the method of payment. As it stands now, we don't know whether they are paid by e-switch, whether they are paid by mobile money, or they are paid through the bank.
So they are paid, as it stands now, they are paid directly by the district common fund, the district assemblies.
They are paid. The district common fund don't pay directly. They are paid by the Zoomlion Ghana Limited.
By Zoomlion.
Yes.
Okay, so if you say you don't know the mode of payment, I don't.
Because per the press statement, we stated that we requested them to finish up the payment record of the beneficiaries.
They don't have it. Zoomlion doesn't have it.
I will not say they don't have it, but they have not finished it to us.
So based on all of these things, you're looking to you're looking to discontinue the contract that the youth employment agency has with Zoomlion.
To say to discontinue, maybe you'll be quoting us wrongly.
No, because, to discontinue as in the contract ends in June, as I indicated.
What we are saying is that the current arrangement cannot continue, and we want to, after June, we want to, from now to June, go through all the proper process, the procurement process, open up for competitive bidding, and make sure we check documents so that by 1st July, if it is Zoomlion Ghana Limited is continue or whatever company that will continue, we want to make sure that there is proper records and also satisfy the requirement of the law.
And by so doing, you're opening up, you're inviting bids.
Certainly, that's what we are supposed to by law, by procurement law. And it's something we want to go and make sure that we satisfy the requirements of the law. We don't want things to continue. These are public funds. We cannot treat it anyway, but we must make sure that it is in line with the tenets of the law.
Even before you wrap up, and I'm going to wrap up this conversation with you, sir, even before you wrap up with your audit, so that you start on a fresh note, as you indicated, from July, etc. They are clear, from the figures we are looking, there are clear indications that there have been some wrongdoing, some miscalculations, maybe some misappropriation. What actions are being taken?
I will not come to that conclusion yet.
Why not?
Because I don't have that evidence to stand on it.
Well, you just showed us evidence with the figures you gave us, unless, of course, there's some explanation.
Of course, and that's the explanation they give. Because at the end of the day, you have the audio or trumpet, we must hear the other side. And then we wrote to them for them to tell us the reason for it. And they have given us their reasons. But the difficulty of it is that it is because we don't have the data, because the data came from them, it's difficult to actually analyze that when you have the data and you have the means to check all those. That's why we are saying to avoid any future occurrence of discrepancies. Let's why you do the reapplication so that we have the database. So tomorrow he can't come and tell us different figure or different names.
So bottom line is that YEA is embarking on a reapplication process where all employees under the Zoomlion and the YEA contracts are going to have to reapply to the YEA from July.
No, the contract arrangements is from July.
Okay.
It's a new arrangement. But from now, even from now to the July, by ending of March, the reapplication should have been done.
Okay. So you've opened, I'm getting a bit confused because it's a bit all over the place. Now, you want people to apply, to reapply, including those who work in the Zoomlion, on the Zoomlion contract.
Because for instance...
No, don't worry, you don't need to explain that. You already explained. You've explained why people need to reapply. Now, what I need to be sure is that who is reapplying? Are you saying that those who work on the Zoomlion project at the moment need to reapply? Yes. And then you're also opening it up for other people who want to work to apply?
Certainly so.
Certainly so.
Yes.
You're a politician. We can run away from that. It looks...
I'm a public servant.
Yeah, well, but you're a politician first. That's why you got the job to be a public servant, isn't it correct?
Are you sure?
Isn't it correct?
Are you sure?
Correct me if I'm wrong. It's correct. You're a politician.
I'm a public
where
servant.
You sit now, you're a public officer, of course, and we hold you accountable. But you're a politician before you go there. So let's just look at this dynamic. Okay. Some people have to reapply. Some people have to apply. New people have to apply. We've seen this happen so many times. New governments come, governments go, and anytime there's a change, you see all kinds of change. Job for the boys. Is that what's happening here?
Well, certainly so.
Certainly so?
If you want to think that way. But at the end of the day...
I'm asking you.
No.
So you say certainly so.
No,
you're trying to create avenues for job for the boys?
Are thinking that way.
I'm asking you. I'm just asking questions.
Our focus and intention, right, is to make sure that the numbers as they exist, the number of people on the model, they are properly captured.
That I understand.
That is
perfectly.
what we are looking at.
That I understand perfectly.
And that is what
we're finished with that conversation. Now the next conversation that I'm trying to have with you is whether or not this is more of job for the boys.
Not so.
Not so.
Yeah.
So you take back your word, what you said previously.
Because of the way you started. But
no, I asked you a simple question and you gave me an answer.
We want to make sure that everything that is being done is done within the limits of the law. That is the end result.
So some people are going to lose their jobs, some people are going to get their jobs.
At the end, I don't see why if someone qualifies, if someone is in the model already, has the experience, you want to replace that person and bring a new person and train the person. No. But you also agree that there could be someone who will say, well, I'm not more interested in the sanitation mode, I want to do something else. What do you do? Definitely you have to replace those people. But the first priority is given to those who are already in the sanitation model.
Thank you very much for coming.
Nice.
And I hope that you feel comfortable enough. I've been speaking to Justin Frimpong Kodria. Justin Frimpong Kodria is the CEO of the Youth Employment Agency. So as you know, they're opening up for competitive bidding. They're opening up for people to apply. They're opening up for, allowing those already on the Zoomlion module to reapply. That's the information that you should have.